Hey everybody, I'm here with my daily video, and this is going to be one that's a little bit different than like my usual. I'm a little bit late filming this. I didn't want to film this so late, but I've just been working all day long and just other things. I've shared on social media a little bit of kind of like some of the things that I'm doing, but this one is kind of planner related and also a little bit back to school and like motivational kind of related. I have been working on trying to come up with like good content ideas for you all. This is an Erin Condren perpetual calendar that I like relabeled and I'm using as a little bit of like a notebook to kind of cull all sorts of ideas for YouTube ideas, and this is one that I've had for a while that is going to discuss a little bit of the whole topic of using planner tools or just like planner stickers, just all sorts of things in order to kind of like ready you and your favorite student, or you might be the student, just kind of like of question or challenge or whatever. But I am a master's level teacher. I also am formerly a high school teacher in the art education classroom, and because I'm just like a very creative kind of problem solver kind of thinker, and I have done a great deal of research on the whole topic of like student motivation and different tools and creative ways to kind of keep someone motivated and also keep them focused. And since I myself manage ADHD and I help my daughter, who's 8 years old, manage ADHD, I have through the years, just from being a classroom teacher and just being someone who manages ADHD, I feel like pretty successfully in order to have some pretty good life success and career success. I have kind of gathered a whole kind of weird list of things that you can do for your favorite student, or you can do as the student in order to stay motivated, and you actually use office supplies like planning tools. So the topic of this video is going to look at all sorts of like office supplies and planner tools and like even planner stickers and things, and just ideas to kind of like stay motivated in order to stay focused, to get like work done and to be like effective and like, I guess, like kind of achieving your goals and things. And I'm going to touch upon a whole bunch of different things. I'm going to show you lots and lots of ideas. I'm going to give you some ideas about how to put together a sort of a homework station sort of idea for your kids or for you, like even if you're kind of at the college level. Just because I know right now all the back to school supplies are out, and so I thought now would be a great time to do this video and just to show you all some like kind of new ideas on what has worked for me to stay motivated even when I was doing like graduate school sorts of studies, and things that have helped my daughter, who is 8 years old, and we're now doing homeschooling, and things that I found to be successful in the classroom when I was a classroom teacher. So if you are interested in like all of this that I just kind of like threw at you, then stick around for the video, and I might offer you some interesting and amusing ideas to, I don't know, like just to see the learning process and to see motivation and like goal achievement in a whole different light that might really inspire you to do something different in order to get something different. So that's what this video is about. If you're interested in hearing about just kind of like some of my perspectives and experiences and ways that I have found that have been very effective, stick around for the video, and I will do my best to just kind of explain things to you and put things in a more positive, inspiring light. So let's go ahead and watch the video. Okay, so this might end up being a little bit of a long video, so let me just apologize in advance for that. I'm sorry about that. I did try and like write notes down in order to make this as focused as possible, but let me just go through and I'm going to show you stuff as much as like tell you stuff. So if you are starting out like doing classroom management or any sort of thing, this might be a really helpful video for you. If you're doing homeschooling, if you're just like a harried sort of a parent and you're trying to find more creative and effective ways to keep your favorite student focused and motivated, then I have some really interesting tips to offer you. And the inspiration of this video is actually, it comes from the fact that one of my family members, my aunt, who I got a chance to spend time with just recently, has a son who is going into 2nd grade, and she knows that I'm a teacher and that I'm pursuing, you know, collegiate level kind of teaching, and I I have my master's in education, and she's watched my YouTube channel, and she asked me for some tips about how to keep her son, who is, I guess, my second cousin, just kind of focused, and how to keep him kind of like sitting down and doing his homework and getting things accomplished. And I had all sorts of ideas to offer her that she never would have thought of, she said. She also volunteers in her school library where her son goes to school. They live out in California. And she just was kind of blown away, she said, by some of the things that I had to kind of suggest. And just after having that conversation with her, I realized that it was maybe valuable information that other people might benefit from too. So I tried to write everything I could down, and that's what this video is going to be about. So let me go ahead and just kind of like start getting through this list. Okay, so one of the first things that's kind of funny is this. Let me just show you. I don't know if you've ever seen this before. Maybe you've seen it on commercials. This is the Staples Easy Button. I don't know if you even knew that this exists, but let me just show you how this works. I can do this one-handed.
That was easy.
This button is such an amazing lifesaver. It was a lifesaver for me in the classroom. It's been a lifesaver for me here at home. It's battery operated. You can get it from Staples, and it's just so funny and so like such a novelty that when my daughter finishes with chores, or she finishes with certain homeschooling things, or even when I was in the classroom, I used to just keep this, and I would let my students hit this button.
That was easy.
And it's amazing what a great motivator it is. You could, if you're a teacher, line up your kids, or just like have them complete a task and then line up, and then they all get to hit this button. It's raised lettering right there, you can see. And in teaching, in education, this is called a visual or like a sensory sort of a clue. And this costs like no money. And it's really fun to use. You could like have your kids be like, how about you push it with your elbow? How about you do this with it? But just having this in like a homework sort of a station, or just even to try and get your kids to do chores.
That was easy.
It's amazing what this thing does in order to motivate and like reward someone with positive incentives. That's not like, I don't know, promising someone something like an expensive like video game or like something like that. And like I said, I used to, as a teacher, like keep this on my desk or like in my desk drawer. And when I was an art teacher, I would have the kids like do a 5-minute cleanup call, and everybody who kind of like cleaned up their station or did their designated job was allowed to come up and push the easy button.
That was easy.
And these were high schoolers, and they treated it a little bit like a game, and it was hilarious to watch, but it was so amazing how motivated and like how easy it was to get the kids to do what they were supposed to do just so that they could push this button. And you know what?
That was easy.
It's hard to argue that it doesn't have an element of fun. So here is like one of my big...
That was easy.
Sorry, I keep hitting it accidentally. This is like one of my big, huge like tips that just got this from Staples. You could probably get it now. And I highly, highly recommend getting yourself an easy button to have at your house, in your classroom, just wherever. Even if you are the student, it's so much fun to push this button. So there is like my first big tip. Okay, my second tip. One thing that sometimes in talking to parents during like parent-teacher conferences, it's just like suggestions for, you know, a homework station, like what to set up for their kids. And I always tell parents to go and get like the most fun pens and pencils that you can. A lot of these are Target things. I have some scissors in there. This is just like a short kind of Target dollar spot like mason jar, and it has retractable pens and mechanical pencils. And I would say that it's very, very important to have writing utensils that are just kind of like all in one, because I know that for myself, I like lose pen caps all the time. I don't know what my problem is, I just do. So having retractable pens and mechanical pencils makes a huge amount of difference, and getting them in just fun colors and patterns and things like what you would find at the Target dollar spot. It's just going to make a world of a difference with like your kids not having to hunt things down or just like have reasons to stop and say, well, I have to sharpen my pencil. So there is like you know, another tip that I feel like should be kind of understood, but it's sometimes those things that we don't really think about, like the whole business of like losing your pen cap, and then like you or your child ends up finding reasons to stop working, and then they've like lost like 10 minutes and gotten unfocused, and then you get kind of frustrated and they get frustrated. And so it's just tiny little things like that that just can make a world of a difference. Some other things that are here in this cup are a small pair of scissors, this is called a gyro cutter, and this is a really, really great tool that I'm going to try and do a different sort of a planner video on, that it's actually a tool that helps you to kiss cut printable stickers. It's not sharp, but allows you to do like intricate cutting that like you can save money and get kind of printables, or just cutting things out so that you're not using scissors. And it's kind of fun to use. It's great for like developing fine motor skills. So like I said, I'll do a whole video on the amazing gyro cutter tool that someone from the planner community named Amy, who's awesome, that she kind of introduced me to on a Periscope. So I'll do a separate video on this and like on planner printables. But so there's another kind of like tip there. Just in the way of like, let's see here, other planner stuff, get yourself a date stamp, a rolling date stamp. I know as a teacher, one of the things that was really frustrating for me would be when the kids would not put names and dates on their work. And this is so fun to use, and it's just an office tool. This one is from Target. You can get this like with your 40% off coupon from Michael's, get like a better one, but this is a great idea to have for your kids to just like stamp their date on the paper the way that like teachers want them to be, or even if you're just doing homeschooling, it's just a great way to just like document the correct way, like the date. So there's another tip for you. Other things, washi tape. Washi tape is so much fun. It's cheap. You can get it decorative. You can get it kind of seasonal. Like even boys like to use like tape that looks like it has eyeballs on it. I mean, and this is such like a small thing to do for kids so that they can decorate their work or just tape their papers together. I mean, this is a great idea. And if teachers give you issue with like tape being decorative, honestly, I have to ask what their priorities are, because if your kid is getting their homework done and like they just need to use a little bit of like eyeball tape to like pizzazz their paper a little bit and be motivated, then I feel like that is far more important than the fact that they like use glitter tape. So have some washi tape. Like let your kids use washi tape as a way to do like projects and things, or just to like tape things together. It's just such a small thing. Let's see here. Another thing, one thing that my aunt had brought up is she had said that her child, he is going into 2nd grade. She has a problem keeping him kind of focused on his work because he always has questions, and they're questions that are unrelated to the work that he's trying to like get accomplished. And so what I suggested to her is to give him a notebook, or I don't know, like a notebook or a notepad that sits right next to the work that he's doing, so that he can keep a list of questions that he has while he's working. So then he becomes a little bit, he has like a little bit of intrinsic sort of, like intrinsic means it's like built in, it's intuitive way to stay like working, but then he can just kind of like switch and write his questions kind of like next to it. So here's like my daughter's kind of student agenda, and I'm working to try and make this like a printable, ready to ship sort of thing from my Etsy shop, by the way, just because I know that people have asked me about it, so I'm working on that. But what I did is I took printable planner stickers that are like the little clipboards, and they're color coded, and I set this up so that when she's working, she can have a lot greater autonomy, because what she can do is she can, and I know this just came up backwards, so I'm really sorry. Let me try and flip the camera around so that you can see this a little bit better, and then it's not backwards. So here is a better picture of the, like, the page that I set up for her. What you do is you want to make this so that it's as visually readable as possible. And the way that you would do this, and another kind of thing to kind of have in a homework station, is like an egg timer. or I guess you could do it on a phone. But what you can do is you can make your child's kind of, or even your mode of working, it's called chunking in educational psychology. And that's basically where you kind of focus yourself for a certain amount of time. And then once that time is up, you take a break. For an individual who just has a hard time being focused because of ADHD, or they just have a lot of questions, it's really easy to just set up a page like this. And like I said, these are printables. They are from a company on Etsy called, here's where it's from, Lemon Wish Designs. And there's another one, and I don't remember where I got this one from, but I just like cut these out. But what you can do is you can say, give your child a little bit of like, this is your kind of homework agenda, and say for the first 15 minutes, and then set the egg timer. For the first 15 minutes, this is what you are to do, and then write down the task here. And then if they have any questions, they can write them over here. For the second chunk of time, which you can say this should take you 25 minutes, you'll write down what they should do here on this clipboard, and then they can write any questions they have during that time, and so on and so forth. Now you'll notice that the way that I set this up is it starts out with 15 minutes, it goes to 25, and then the time decreases. And that's because in my experience as a teacher and just what I know about like educational psychology and just like cognitive development and just the way that just generally students work, as you kind of go along, you might find that like your kids become more and more antsy. And so when you start out with chunking, start out with like the higher amount of time and then decrease it and decrease it. So then as you kind of get towards the end, it's like, look, we only have 5 minutes left, like only 10 minutes and then 5 minutes. Doing it like this, and these are just planner stickers, and like I said, planner stickers can be very expensive, so just like get yourself some printables and just like cut them out, and you can do it this way, make it as visual as possible, make it color coded. It's really easy. Doing it this way gives your child a visual understanding of what the expectation is. And usually students, kids, they just do better when things are structured and when they understand things. And when you put it down here, I mean, you can run your hand over top of it. It has a very kind of a textured quality to it because of those planner stickers. And it gives them a place to put their questions. It gives them an ability to develop some independence and autonomy when they're working on their academics and things. It also gives them the expectation right here. I mean, all of it offers it in a very clear and concise way so that they feel respected, like their questions are not going to be ignored. You don't get exasperated as a parent or even as a teacher. This is a great way to handle a student who has a hard time being focused and has a hard time just like with the fact that they have a lot of questions. Because I feel like as a teacher, you never want to deny your students the opportunity to ask questions and have those questions be addressed. It's a missed opportunity in my opinion, and it's a great opportunity to learn. Doing things by way of like learning by way of questions is called inquiry-based learning, and it's actually one of the most powerful ways that any individual can learn. It's also called, I think, constructive behaviorist kind of an approach to learning, and it's the best way that a kid can like own the learning that they do. It's also the best way to propel learning, to propel it by like having them ask questions and then have that drive them and inspire them to just like learn on their own. So there is a little bit of a trick, like a teacher approved kind of suggested trick that has worked for me, and also for my daughter and also my students that I've worked with. So something else that might be really, really helpful is that individuals who have to manage ADHD, they have to manage the need to just like move around and just, I mean, like movement is a huge thing that will actually help them to learn and just stay focused if you allow them to move. So this is going to seem a little bit off and a little bit weird, but I would suggest anybody anybody, to allow your student to chew gum. If you allow your kid to chew gum, that physical movement of just chewing gum can actually help them to stay focused and even sit still. Or you can also do something else, like you can have an exercise ball that they sit on instead of having them like sit in a chair, or even a cushion like a pillow, something where they can kind of like shift around. That actually helps tremendously for individuals who have the challenge of managing ADHD. Something else, if your child has sensory processing disorder, or just they have a need to just like, I don't know, my daughter is just like a tactile learner. This is something that I got that they use in occupational therapy. And we call this the hedgehog. And this is something that is just soft kind of plastic. But sometimes if my daughter needs to kind of like sit still, I'll carry this around my purse. It just sits on the top of like her desk or something, or she can sit it in her lap. She can like rub it against her, you know, face or whatever. But it's a really, really great thing that helps for people who are tactile learners, or even people who are ADHD. It's just very gratifying to like run your hand over top of it. I got this on Amazon. I will try and link it in the down bar if I can find it again. But this is something that's commonly used for individuals who have sensory processing disorder, or even individuals who have ADHD. And like I said, we call it the hedgehog. And when she was in the classroom, it was tremendously helpful for her to just have it on her lap, so that she could just like run her hand over top of it and like listen to the teacher at the same time. Like an outside of the box suggestion that has really, really worked for us. I think it was like $10 or $15, but $10 or $15 well spent, because of what it has enabled and supported my daughter to do in terms of like academic achievement and just staying focused. So there's another trick, that the hedgehog that we call in our family. Something else you could get is you can get silly putty, or just like clay or Play-Doh. Even like that Floam really, really helps. Just kids, even if you are trying to get them to have discussions, just giving them like something to just like squeeze, that right there, that motion can really help them to think and to process things. And it's great just to keep them motivated. It's like, if you can try and sit still, then you can sit and hold the hedgehog, or like kind of squeeze the Floam. That's just like a great thing that the school psychologist even that I worked with at my old school used to give that to kids as rewards. So even also students who struggle with managing anxiety, that's another thing. This is another thing that helps with like kids who are dealing with anxiety as it has to do with academic performance, or even just like social anxiety, just like being there afraid that the teacher's going to call on them, just anything like that. So there's another thing. Let's see here. What else is on my list? Reward stickers or coloring pages is a great thing to have in a homework bin, because when you have like this sort of thing where you set up something so that they can visually see what the expectation is and even what the incentive is, just saying like, once you do your homework for 15 minutes, then you may do this coloring page for like 5 minutes. You can also use planner stickers. Here's some really great planner stickers from Rose Colored Days is the name of the seller that I've had just great experience with, and I'll end up doing a planner sticker love down on them. But just using this and putting it actually like in the planner, it makes a world of a difference to say like, just keep in mind, here's the goal. The goal is that we get to watch a movie together, like when you're done. Even I like to use these stickers. These are from an Etsy seller by the name of Dream Big and Plan. I love this Etsy seller. They're overseas, but beautiful, beautiful work. And these are little crowns. And like our name actually really, our last name really is royalty. So like, what I always say to my daughter is that like, you know, royalty, what is their decorum? Like people who are real royalty, they have decorum where they have self-control, where they are setting a good example. And I will do things like put that little crown kind of princess sticker on the page to just be like, let's remember what royalty does. Or if your kids are really into like Disney princesses, or even like being a knight in shining armor, like get yourself some stickers and put it right on the page and just say, let's keep in mind kind of who we're trying to be, the example that we're trying to set. So drawing an imagination and just like identity in that way is a great way to reframe things to get kids to do the things that they're supposed to be doing, which is like their homework or just focusing on academic achievement. So that's another idea. Here is like another kind of sticker set from Rose Colored Days. This is Pink Lemonade, just saying like, hey, when you get done with your homework, or when we get done with this sort of kind of like milestone of like the 10-minute mark, you know, we'll have some pink lemonade and cookies together. So there you go. There's another sort of a way to employ planner stickers, the deco kind. Let's see here. Here's another one. This is, you can even do like a to-do list. This is from Happy Doodle Stickers, and this is like themed from, oh my gosh, Big Bang Theory. But these are kind of fun stickers, so you can just use theme stickers as a way to set up like an agenda page in order to just encourage them to check things off the list. Here's some really fun bacon stickers that I got from Michaels that I think anybody would really enjoy. But using stickers as an incentive has been incredibly helpful for us in our household, as a way for my daughter to like collect them and just kind of like be excited about it. Let's see here, what else? Using an agenda, a student agenda. Now this is actually something that I'm working on having as a ready to ship, or like a printed, and then like I'll ship it to you. But I have created these flat books that I think I've shared before. These are like faux dory style. They're like half letter, kind of A5 size. But like having your kids have a student agenda that really works for them is a huge way to help them to like just have academic success. This is color coded, and I'm going to do some videos on like how to use color coding and just like student agendas in more effective ways. But giving them a student agenda that really works for them, that's going to be a huge thing that's going to help with their academic success and help with their, it's called executive functioning. And this, it's brightly colored, it's very engaging, you can use planner stickers on this. So there's one. I also have like a blue one for like guys, like boys who plan, I guess, or even if you like something like, I have a different color palette, and then I have one in like gray scale that's simply means black and white, and they're all going to be priced the same, but they all have these fun covers and things. So I'm working on, this is going to be a new release for my Etsy shop. Here's one that's kind of fun, has like owls and things on it, but these are all just like flat staple bound books that are like in kind of 12-week sort of setups. So this works for student teachers, for students, for teachers. It's called like, I call it like the lesson plan sort of layout, but it has like grid kind of end sheets, and then it jumps right in with this sort of like grid kind of planning. So having a really good agenda book is a great idea. If you don't like that, like maybe a daily planner works a little better. This is one I have from May Designs. It's really beautiful, and it's a daily planner, and it's great because it has grid paper on one side, and then it has like to-do list and kind of like other things, and you can always relabel it. But just having an agenda that works for you, that's another thing I would suggest. And I have a pretty good understanding about the whole of the planner market, and I sell planner printables and things myself, so so that's another thing that I would suggest. Let's see here, what else is on my list? Having an adjustable desk. When you are thinking about setting up like a student kind of workstation or just like an office, a really great thing that you can do is to have an adjustable desk. And what I mean is one that you can stand at or one that you can sit at. Studies have proven, even at like the Google offices, that having a desk that accommodates either standing or sitting can actually really help, because it just changes your positioning. It changes a little bit like the scenery. It makes it easier to work in whatever fashion that you like. I know that for me, sometimes standing, it just really helps me in order to stay focused and just like do what I need to do. Like it's easier to move around a little bit. So if you have not put together like a student sort of an office space for them to have like their own little kind of academic office, consider using a desk that accommodates either standing or sitting. If you have an IKEA close to you, or even if you want to do mail order IKEA, you can talk to the people in office planning, and they can suggest to you options so that you can have a standing like or a seated desk. You can also use a little bit of like, in restaurants they call them high top tables, getting like a bar table with bar stools, so then you can sit at it, or you can push the bar stool away and then you can stand at it, which it's just a really great option for just like setting up a little bit of like a student kind of workspace. So there is another option for you. And I think that's really kind of all that I have for you. Other than just like, you know, sticky notes. I have done other videos on how to write a research paper, or even like a book thing. I don't know. Like, let your kids do things like decorate their notebook pages as a way to take notes and things. I mean, and like I said, if you have a teacher that you're dealing with that like has an issue with like how they do writing or how they do just like getting their work accomplished, and I will try and link the video on this in the down bar, then no offense, but I did work in administration and teacher leadership and training. Like, that teacher maybe needs to reframe what their goals are with the student in order for them to have greater accomplishment. And that's just me, just kind of as a third party. But as a teacher who would talk to teachers, like, I would even say this to colleagues, like, maybe you need to like rethink what your overall learning objective is and your teaching objective is. That's just me, but that's like, yeah. So anyway, so I guess that's really kind of it, like all I have for you for this video. I hope that what I shared with you was helpful. I hope it wasn't too much information. If you have any questions, please feel free to like leave them in the comments. I have a lot of like creative sorts of ideas for motivation for kids, and I'm happy to share them with you, even ongoing. And I guess that's it for this video. So I gotta make dinner for my family because I'm sure that people are hangry, because even I'm getting hangry. So that's another thing. If your kids are hangry, that doesn't work. So set up a little bit of a snack station right next to all of like the homework stuff that they have, and that will help tremendously for them. So that's it. That's really it. Okay. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was really long, but I hope it was informative and helpful. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me via social media, or any of my contact information that I'm going to leave in the description of this video. I do a daily video, so make sure that you subscribe if you don't want to miss the next one. And I am going to try and do some more planning videos, just because people have left comments on my other videos and things, and just on like my other social media accounts, saying that like what I've been sharing, especially about planning, has been especially helpful to them. And I just really love to participate in YouTube and help others, and especially use like, I feel like the creative problem solving and just like information and just experience that I've had as a teacher, and just as being like a reasonably successful like adult in life. So anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe so that you don't miss my next video, so we can hang out online again. And that's it. So thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. And I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's daily video. So that's it. I will see you later and in the next video. Bye.